Hey everyone, Billy here. I wanted to do one more video. This video is for Gay Pride Month. I tried to make the video yesterday and upload it, and for some reason the video kept speeding me up, but my words were staying the same, and I'm like, I don't understand what was happening. So I was using my webcam when I when I recorded that one. So I decided, I'm like, you know what? My phone works great. It has a great camera on it. I'm going to use my phone and go from there. But Gay Pride Month, like, yes, y'all, Tuesday I'm going to be turning 35. And RuPaul says a man does not start living until he is 40. So I'm still a baby, I guess, for another 5 years. But anyways, I am reacting to the Eugene Lee Yang's I'm Gay video. And the reason why I'm going to do this is because I watched it about 4 or 5 times so far. And it's such a beautiful, beautiful video. The dancing and the emotion behind it all is just fabulous. And the reason I wanted to specifically react to it and give my opinion to it is because, honestly, by watching it, it actually reminded me a lot, like each scene reminded me a part of me growing up. And I was like, you know what, I could do a video on this. And I don't know if I'm going to get emotional or not, so bear with me. But let's go through the video. Start with the beginning. Red. He is there with his family, and his mom is acting like she's a model. She's putting lipstick on. She's very beautiful, and the kids are copying her and having fun and laughing. Then you got Daddy over in the corner who is upset. So, my dad, and, does not like the fact that, his son is acting a certain way, like he's not supposed to be acting like that, he's a man, blah, 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 blah. And we'll go into my childhood right now. My dad was a alcoholic and abusive father, mentally and physically, and I pretty much walked on eggshells pretty much my entire childhood. And I don't normally talk about my childhood. This is why I'm doing this video, because I don't like talking about it because it brings up feelings, but you need to get feelings out, especially if they're built up. And so that's why I was like, you know what, this is the perfect time for me because to do this kind of video, because I was watching the different scenes in Eugene's video, and I'm like, I remember that. Oh, that goes along with that. That goes along with that. I'm like, you know what? I can do a video on this. So, my dad, yes, very abusive. Like, he connected more with my brother because my brother played sports, and so did my dad. See, I played some sports when I was little. I played like baseball for a few years, and I was on a bowling league. A bowling league for a few years, and I mostly hung out with like my mom and my aunts. Like, I was them, and then my brother was like with my uncle and my dad. But in reality, we tried to avoid my dad as much as possible. And it was bad. My mom stayed with him because she didn't want us to be dealing with separate households while we're going through school. So she stayed until all of my brother and I were both adults, and something happened that I'm not looking forward to talk about, so I'm just going to leave it at that. A lot of people know the story, and I've told it a million times. If you really want to know, you can ask me, and I may do a video about it, because it was a very interesting time, because it was also the time that I came out. So, but going on to the next part of the video. The next part of the video is the church scene. When I was young, I went to church with my aunt and uncle for years, and I loved it. I mean, I loved going to church. I was in church plays. I wasn't ever in a choir because I was never old enough to be in the choir. But I was in a lot of the kids' church plays, and it was a lot of fun. Like, I loved it, and it was a way for me to get away as well, because my aunt knew how my dad was, and my uncle, and so I was very close to, like, my mom's side of the family, like my aunts and uncles. I was very close to them because I stayed away from home as much as possible. So church was just another escape for me, and I was learned about God. I learned about Jesus. And I always wondered this. Oh my God, I was starting to get emotional. Why he was letting my home life be as bad as it was. And it was very difficult, and I didn't know what to do, and I had no one to turn to except for my friends. And they didn't even, they at that time, my friends knew about my dad, but it was not, we never talked about it. Basically, we just played, and that was it. Like, I spent a lot of nights at their houses and stuff, so, but as I got older, and by the time I was like I guess I was probably around a preteen, I started to learn about attraction and noticed that I had an attraction to guys. And something happened when I was a child, and I learned about things that child should not learn about at that age. I was like 5 or 6, but I didn't understand it. I just knew it was wrong. But by the time I was 12, I noticed that I had this weird attraction to guys, and that's when I realized, okay, I believe I'm different. So, yeah, during church, I felt really, I was happy at first, and then all of a sudden I realized that how I was feeling was wrong, and it really hit me hard. It hit me really hard, and I prayed to God for me to stop feeling this way. I did. I prayed multiple times. I was like, God, please just let this attraction of men just go away. I'll get married. I'll have children. Just let it go away. I don't want to deal with this. And it just never went away. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm broken. That's how I felt. But the next scene in the video is, the next scene in the video is, Eugene is the yellow scene, and Eugene is dancing with a girl, and then all of a sudden a guy appears, and he has to make a choice if he want to stay with the women or let go and be with the man who he's really attracted to. I mean, that's how I interpreted it, obviously, but that reminded me a lot of my girlfriend, my ex-girlfriend. I did actually had a girlfriend. Her name was Tessa. I'm just going to go ahead and say it. She was and is still a wonderful girl, wonderful woman. Like, seriously, like, we kind of grew up, I don't know, with our parents. Our parents were not Christians. And, and they acted a certain way, and, I mean, her parents acted a certain way, my parents acted, or my dad, I'm not saying my mom, my dad acted a certain way, and we kind of relied on each other in that aspect, and she was one of the greatest things to happen to me. I really do, and it's really weird to say that, but yeah, she just was just always there, and when I got to freshman year, I came out as bisexual, and this was right after we decided we were going to call it quits. I mean, we dated off and on, from like elementary school up. Like, it's like it was like off and on, and I mean, And those times, it's like, it's just little kitty love, but it's like, once you get to junior high and you are getting to be a teenager, you start to realize what love is and attraction a lot more. And I knew that I couldn't tell her how I was, how I felt. Um, but we ended up breaking up. It was kind of, it wasn't a mutual thing. I was upset, but she um, was like, ready to call it quits, and eventually I got over it. We were still friends anyways. I wasn't like mad at her or anything, but I was more upset the fact that I was single. But finally, I just came out to everybody. I was like, you know what, I'm bisexual. But when you come from a small town in the middle of nowhere, there is no bisexual. You are gay. When it comes to my school was between two stinking cornfields. So that could tell you a lot. So that explains the kind of people that I grew up with. But so not only was I the fat kid in my grade, I was also one of the gay kids because there was two other ones who were gay as well. So even though I was saying I was bisexual, I was gay. I was gay. I didn't realize, I didn't even want to admit it at the time, but I was full blown gay. Like, but it was hard during that time period because of the fact that my my upbringing was so like, it was difficult. It was just difficult. But going on to the next part of the video, the next part is a big part for me, and that is the party scene. I guess the color is green. I guess I don't know. I can't remember offhand. I apologize. But it's a party scene, and it takes place, and it's supposed to be in like a club. He's around drag queens and all these gay people, and everybody's just fabulous and dancing, and everybody's having fun and enjoying life. What that reminded me of is my high school experience. Like I said, I was made fun of not being the fat kid, but also being gay, and theater and choir were a big part of my life. It was my getaway. It was my, it was like my home. The stage and the choir room was my home. And I never wanted to leave it. And I don't know if any of my friends from the choir or, my school days, because, you have your school friends, and sometimes you have your school friends and also home friends, but my school friends in general, they were like family to me. And I never told them this, and I wish I would have, and I wish I still technically should tell them this, but what's the point now? It's been over 15 years. But they accepted me for who I was. They didn't judge me on who I was, and it was great because I was out and I felt comfortable, and I was around people who love the arts as much as I do, and it was like, to them it was like, oh, it's like it's an after school activity. Me, it was like me and my family having fun together. And the part of Eugene's video where the guy walks up and he's portraying that he's holding a gun in his hand, and it reminded me of when play rehearsal ended and I had to go home. I had to go home to my father, and I didn't want to face him. I tried to avoid him as much as possible because he, even in high school, he was still scary to me. I mean, he said some hurtful things to me. Commented about my weight all the time. It wasn't even like trying to help, like just saying stuff about it. And it's like, you're not even trying to like encourage me or help me. You're just being hurtful. And that's why I just have playing theater was the ghetto. Playing theater. Choir and theater were my getaways. And I loved to perform. I loved it. I mean, if I didn't like perform, I wouldn't be on YouTube right now doing videos. So trying to make a YouTube channel. But the next scene was, this scene actually really, really got to me. Because after high school, my parents got a divorce. My dad cheated on my mom. I don't like getting in specifics about it. I don't like talking about it because it's in the past. But long story short, he cheated on my mom, and I'm the one who found out about it. And he blames me for them divorcing because I'm the one who stuck my nose into his business and caught him cheating. And he was like, let's get on your computer and, let's find out, look at all the gay stuff you have on your computer. And I was like, straight up to his face, I was like, Dad, me cheating on mom has nothing to do with you. You cheating on mom has nothing to do with me being gay. That has nothing to do with it. That's pretty much how I came out to my parents. And, well, to my dad at first. I wasn't expecting to come out to my dad at first. To be quite honest with you. I expected to be like my mom or my grandma. So, that was a terrible time. And you can see how I'm like, oh. In this scene, Eugene's getting beat up by people, and they leave him bloody and on the ground, and his family comes up, and they're like, you see there's two of them dressed in black and two of them dressed in white, and they pick him up, and then they start fighting with each other, and they leave him, and it's like, I kind of like take that kind of different ways, like how I was dealing with myself being who I was and listening to the words that my dad was saying to me was really tough. This part, it hurts me still to this day. I'm sorry. In the process of me coming out to my dad, he tells me, I hope you get AIDS and die. And I'm like, oh my God, how can you say that to your son? How can you say that to someone you created? What kind of parent does that? Like, oh my gosh, it's like, and it's one of those things, it's burned in the back of my brain. It's burned there. Words hurt. And they can scar, and it left a scar. It burned and left a scar. And I pretty much forgave him about everything, except for that. I will never forgive him for that. Ever. Ever, 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 ever. I can't help it. You can beat me till I'm bloody, but you would not ever, ever wish death upon me and get away with it. No. Absolutely not. And I will not put up with it. The next scene, there's two more left. The next scene is, you see Eugene, he's dressed in purple, and he's walking towards the camera, and people are fighting on each side of him, pushing and shoving and pulling, and I'm looking at that as the emotions I was going through my 20s, because of everything that happened with me as a child. Like, I was messed up. Like, I had depression, anxiety, got diagnosed with PTSD because I lived a traumatic childhood because of an alcoholic, abusive father. And what is a child to do? Like, I couldn't run away. I couldn't, I didn't know what to do. How, and then I'm screaming and I'm yelling and I'm lashing out at people. And I am, this huge guy in his 20s, and I'm lashing out at people because of stuff that traumatized me as a child. And I'm saying hurtful and terrible things and stuff that I would never say. And once I would calm down, I'd start crying because I would have felt terrible about what I said. I mean, I don't even like saying the words that I said because it's defensive and I don't want to go there. But finally, after seeing a counselor and getting diagnosed with everything, they got me adjusted to medication, and I don't get mad. I don't get mad. If I get mad, it's for 2 minutes and then I'm over it. It's so weird. I'm generally I'm so stressed out because I can't work because of my back and having PTSD and my back issues, my hips, and my left foot. I've always walked on the outside of my foot, and they're trying to fix that, and it's just a big thing, and it's I deal with pain every day, but it's you know what? I try not to let it stress me out so much, and even to this day, emotions still attack me. I have emotions, obviously, because I'm sitting there crying. And I'm nervous, I'm shaking. And, but it's you just have to push on and I'm telling you, you gotta stay positive no matter what. Because emotions can hurt you now. I mean, not just mentally, physically. There are days where I would just get sick and I would just get, and I get so tired where I just didn't want to get up. And it's terrible. But finally, the last scene. The last scene basically is Eugene sitting on a couch. And he stands up. And the queens from the party walk in. And also, I apologize. There was one of his friends from BuzzFeed who's a lesbian. She walks in as well. She was at the party as well. I apologize about that. And they're surrounding him, and they're all sitting down. Then he sits down, and this is where I pretty much want to finish my part of my video, and where I'm going to give my little inspirational speech. Well, what I took from that part of the video is there are people around the world that feel like they have no one and they are alone. Well, it sucks. But guess what? You have the right to create your own family. If your family denies you happiness and does not love you for who you are, you can make your own family of people who will accept you. You can surround yourself with that love, and it will hold you and cradle you, and it will make the strength that is down inside you come out and make you stronger and make you proud to be who you are. It took me a long time to be proud of who I am. I'm not perfect, obviously not. I need to lose weight, and you know what? It's a struggle when you can't move around that much, but you gotta do what you gotta do, and I'm losing it slowly. But you know what? I got friends to support me, because I didn't know what I was going to do. When I came out to at that time, I had no idea what I was going to do. I didn't know if my grandma was going to hate me. I didn't know how my family was going to react. I have family members telling me, "Oh, it's a phase. You'll grow out of it. You'll grow out of it." They say to this day, it's a phase. I'm going to be 35 freaking years old. It is no longer a phase, people. Come on. Look at the reality of the situation. Your family member is gay, and I'm the only gay person as far as I know, in my entire family. So I have like check mark black sheep written above my head. Like seriously, I might as well have like a tattoo of a black sheep on my forehead. Like seriously. And if it wasn't for my friends, I don't even have to see my friends all the time. I have so many friends, guys, girls, straight, gay, all of them. If it wasn't for them, I would probably go insane. My friends are my family. They will always be my family. If you become my friend and I put any type of trust into you, you are automatically part of my family. I am prone to getting used, as I said before. I've got used multiple times over time, and my mom was the same way, is the same way. We get used all the time. People walk all over us because we're such nice people. So I've learned to be strong and learn to say no, pretty much. Never used to say no. Now it's like, sorry, I can't even help myself right now, and so I can't help you. But there is one thing that I want to let you guys know. If for some reason you are out there and you are feeling like you have no one, you have no place to turn, no one to talk to, you're feeling suicidal, or you're feeling really depressed and anxious, anything like that, you send me a DM. Send me a direct message. I don't care if everyone who starts following me watches this video and starts sending me messages. I will try to get back to every single person as best that I can, because everybody needs somebody to talk to. If I can't physically do stuff to help you, I will be there to be able to talk to you and be a support system, because we all need to support each other, no matter if you're gay, straight, fat, skinny, have a third arm and a leg growing out your butt, for all I know. It doesn't matter. Just know that no matter what, you are loved. You are loved, you are appreciated, and be freaking proud of who you are, and do not let anybody change who you are, because they were people who will try to change you. Don't let them succeed. You be strong and be who you are, and you let them know, this is me, and if you don't like it, get the heck out of my life, because I don't need you. That's what you have to remember. It took me a long time to get the strength to stand up for myself, to gain a backbone. And I'm so glad that I did. My dad went to prison, and when got out, he was on probation. Got his papers saying that he's on probation. He's drinking again. I told him, like, you know what, Dad? I'd be a hypocrite if I said that I didn't if I didn't want you drinking, because of the fact that, I'm going to a birthday party tomorrow for me, and I'm going to be drinking, and I'm spending the night at my friend's house. But you know what? I'm not an alcoholic. I hardly ever drink. Last time I drank was New Year's. It's pretty much the only time I drink is at New Year's. So it's a little bit different. But I told him, I don't care if you drink. Whatever, you're a grown-ass man. But I see you with an alcoholic beverage in your hand. You better freaking believe it's going to be smacked out of my hands. I'm going to look you straight in the eye, tell him to get the F out of this house, and I'm going to tell him he is no longer a part of my life. Because guess what? I don't need you in my life. You screwed up my life from the day I was born to now. And guess what? It was all because of your alcoholism. And if you can't admit that you are wrong, and if anybody out there who is dealing with this as well, and someone is around you that is toxic like my father, you don't need them in your life. So far, everything is fine. But if he messes up, be gone. I don't need you. Don't need you. I don't care if my phone gets shut off. I don't care if I ain't got no gas in my car. I don't care if I have to call and get medical transportation to go to my doctor's appointment. I will do what I need to do, because I do not need someone that is toxic in my life anymore. I am trying to be positive, and I need positive people in my life. And if you're full of drama and toxic, get the F out. Remember that, people. And you know what? When I say about being proud of who you are, be proud of who you are. Because you know why? The man upstairs loves you. Loves you. Doesn't matter if you're gay, straight, black, white, skinny, fat, all that. He loves you. You know why? Because God loves his children. And if you feel you have no one, oh, you got one person already waiting for you to have a conversation with. He will listen to you. I talk to him every single day. Every day. And you know what? That man upstairs puts obstacles in your way, but it's never anything that you as a human cannot handle. You may think you not be able to handle it, but you know what? You got people around you, believe it or not, or people who can help you. There's organizations out there. If you are feeling suicidal and upset, or you just need somebody to talk to, there's organizations that can help you, guide you. You're not alone. You can bring people in to help you and support you. It's all about emotional support and being one as a family. You may not even meet a person in real life, but you might talk to them for years and they could still be part of your family. Because emotionally you are attached to that person, because you guys rely on each other for emotional support. But lovelies, I want to end this video. It's getting really long, so I want to thank you so much for watching my video. I greatly appreciate it. Go ahead, if you want to, like my video and subscribe. I will be trying to upload at least once or twice a week. I'm doing it more like every day right now because I'm just starting my channel up. But be ready for some good spilling of tea and a good opinion on some subjects out there, because they're piling up and Billy feels like expressing his opinion. So be ready for that hot tea, and I'll see you all in the next video. Love you, Haas. Mwah.